Michael,
Hey, Mr. Ricky, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Except for I have a friend of mine who's probably been having some issues. He's an older guy,
Oh, okay.
in his 80s.
Oh,
He's
wow.
kind of, yeah, he said he got a ticket the other day.
Oops.
yeah. Yeah, I asked him, I said, so what happened? And so he starts telling me that he drove his brand new Corvette convertible out of the
Oh,
dealership. So he's 80. He buys a Corvette. So anyway, so he
okay.
gets on the road and he floors it at 80 miles per hour. And I'm thinking, man, that's kind of dangerous, man. He said, it's nothing. He said that, but then suddenly, he said he looked at his rearview mirror and he saw a state trooper behind him, the lights flashing, sirens blaring. And I said, "What do you do? What did he do?" He said he floored it to 100 miles per hour. then he
Oh, my
floored it.
gosh.
Then he floored it 110, and then he went 120 miles per hour. And I'm thinking, what?
Wow.
Then finally, he said he thought about it, and he says he asked himself. I said, I don't. I asked myself. He said, "What am I doing?" He said, "I'm too old for this." And he pulled over to wait for the trooper's arrival. So this is the kick. The trooper pulls up behind him, walks up to the Corvette, looked at his watch and said, "Sir, my shift ends in 30 minutes and today is Friday." So the trooper told him, "If you can give me a good reason for speeding that I've never heard before, I'll let you go." So my buddy, the old guy, tells his trooper, he said, "Well, years ago," he said, "my wife ran off with a state trooper and I thought you were bringing her back." So
So
he, he let
wrong.
he let him go.
It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. State troopers.
Oh, my gosh.
So, kind of got a hodgepodge tonight, huh? Kind of a
We
mixed
do.
mash.
We do.
We kind of did our last minute. Hey, what do you want to do at the last minute, Ricky?
I don't know. What do you want to do at the last
Well,
minute, Mike?
the show is on in 2 hours. What should we do? So we
Uh,
decided to give a whole lot of nerdy news, and we will
yep.
talk about Secret Invasion.
Yes.
The trailer came out several weeks ago. It was also at the Disney Expo 20. They did their big expo. They did a while back, but they did have a featurette out, which was interesting and kind of gave you more information on a little behind the scenes. So.
Yep.
This is very much going to be a cloak and dagger type of thing.
Yes.
Which I'm excited about. I think it's
we're very much calling back to the Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yes,
has that kind of feel.
Yes. So we'll be talking about that more about later because there's some things that I have questions and wondering about. So
Me too.
But with that, I think we'll just go ahead and we'll talk about some nerdy news and see what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, where do you want
me
to start?
If you want me to start,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the box office.
Okay.
Because I am a box office guy. I love the box office stuff. So Guardians of the Galaxy took the box office again. No real surprise.
No.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 got an additional $60 million this past weekend.
My goodness.
And that brings its domestic gross up to $213 million and worldwide $475 million. So along with Super Mario Brothers, that means that Chris Pratt has made probably right at $1.5 billion to the box office in the last 6 weeks.
Man.
Now, don't expect it to last much longer. Super Mario Brothers did come in second place again this week, but expect them to kind of fall down the tier because as unexcited as I am about this, Fast 10 releases this weekend.
Oh my goodness.
So I expect Fast 10, just because of the following that series has, that it will take the box office this next weekend.
I don't get it, but I never,
I'm disappointed that it's not called Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
Yeah. Or, fast senior discounts. Something like that.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I am Groot. So, so anyway, but yeah, well, Chris Pratt, it's hard to believe that he was Andy from, Parks and Rec. And now he's like, he's a mega
superstar. I know.
So yeah, it's really odd to me. Another thing that's odd to me too is this whole Disney removing content, and they're talking about hiking prices and merging Disney Plus with Hulu. They said they lost 4 million subscribers, which is pretty wild to me. I wish I had some comparison to Netflix and all that, because it's just, we talked about
nobody puts up the numbers, so it's hard to know for sure.
Yeah, I have Hulu and I have Disney Plus, and so we knew that Disney bought Fox, and we know there's a lot of Fox FX products within there. And you were telling me earlier that Comcast has their hands in it as well. So
Comcast is still a minority holder on Hulu, so that's kind of holding them back from making a full merger. But from what I've read, I'm a little confused as to what's going to happen. But my best understanding is there's going to be one app, and it sounds like this is going to be a little like the Warner Brothers Discovery thing.
Yeah, the whole
where we had HBO Max and we had Discovery Plus.
Okay.
And now we just have Max, the single app.
Okay.
But I'm a little unsure of what's going to happen here, whether or not, because you're still going to have both subscriptions if you want to watch Disney Plus and Hulu.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if you're going to go into one app and then have to choose Disney or Hulu, or if you just go into one app and you just won't have access to everything unless you pay for both subscriptions.
I think the oddest thing right now with streaming services is you look at Amazon, even with Hulu and a couple of other streaming services. And what's funny to me is that they have all these under layers of content. Like on Amazon, you can have, like we talked about earlier, Stars, BritBox.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all that
these
stuff.
Standalone features are also available inside of Amazon Plus or Amazon.
Yeah, and then they have Hulu too, and they have Hulu TV, and it's really convoluted because some of it crosses over, so it's really odd to me. And there must be some changes happening, because I'm seeing shows that I couldn't see on Hulu anymore that was exclusively on other venues now popping up on Hulu. So unless there's a lot of change in ownership and things are happening where stuff is finally coming into the fold that has been out there for so long, Fox products coming back to Hulu after a certain amount of time that used to be on Netflix, because now you're seeing now Fox, their stuff is starting to come in, like Arrested Development is left Netflix, and New Girl is one that came in. And I mean, you're just seeing these shows that I used to watch, on Netflix. Now more of it's coming in. So, we've had a show before about this, but it's just fascinating to me, this whole subscriber numbers. And I really would love to see some hard data on this to really see what's going on and who is affected. I mean, we know that, and I'm interested to see how Paramount is doing, because they're starting to offer some pretty good stuff. I mean, they had they have now Dungeons and Dragons is on there from the movie theaters that you can actually I
Oh,
think
is
you
that
can
on
bring,
Paramount
yeah,
now?
Paramount.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
and
think you
Paramount has all the Star Trek
all
stuff.
Star Trek. They
So if
did the
you're a
Halo
Star Trek
series.
fan, yeah, if you're a Star Trek fan, you definitely
Yeah,
have Paramount Plus. I
yeah.
mean, there's
So
I do think it's interesting that for years and years and years, what all of us cable subscribers said was, I wish we could just pick the channels we wanted and I didn't have to pay one big fat fee for everything. Well, now now we got what we asked for.
yeah, and we're having yes,
And
and
it's giving us new fits.
yeah, new fits
Uh,
exactly. And we're so
well,
spoiled we won't pay for ads. So and without ads, so
oh, I know. Well, speaking
yeah,
of Dungeons and Dragons and speaking of ads,
yes,
Hasbro just announced. This is a great segue.
I love
Hasbro
it.
has announced
That's
a
good.
Dungeons and Dragons free ad-supported streaming TV channel. It's
Nice.
supposed to start this summer. It's going to be called Dungeons and Dragons Adventures, and it's expected to have a mix of different kind of content about the role-playing games, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll have originals. Some of the originals that were listed were Heroes Fest and Encounter Party and Faster Purple Worm. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. That's what it's called. As well as third party content from internet creators and influencers. That's kind of an
Interesting.
interesting, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of an interesting choice. But it is also supposed to have the 1980s cartoon Dungeons and Dragons
Okay, that's
as
interesting
part
for
of
me.
its
Yeah.
launch.
Nice.
And because Hasbro has some ties with Tubi,
Mm-hmm.
some experts are saying that probably it's going to be free and ad supported, but it's going to be inside of Tubi.
Oh, really?
So
You know, it's funny.
if you have Tubi, then it may just
Yeah,
appear as one of the new channels.
it might be. Well, I mean, they have these. Isn't Tubi one of those free channels?
Yep, yep. Tubi
Yep.
is free, and it's got, I mean,
Yeah.
lots and lots of different channels, and
Yeah.
but I think there might be a paid version of Tubi
It
that
might
you
be
can get
too.
like regular stations on. I'm
Yeah.
not super up on Tubi. I did a whole spreadsheet one time when I was trying to figure out what streaming service to choose. But it's been a long time since I've looked at all
Oh,
that stuff, so I don't
you did
remember
some
anymore.
real, yeah, you did some real Bill Nice science on that deal, didn't you?
Yeah, I took a deeper
Yeah.
dive than probably anybody should have ever done.
Well, you know, things that are important like that, we really need to know what we're getting into. So,
True, true.
getting it, yeah. But speaking of streaming services, we finally have a official date on Loki season 2.
Ah,
Uh,
yes.
Tom Huddleston, Owen Wilson will be back. Let me see here. It's going to start new season of Loki starts streaming October the 6th of this year.
Okay.
And so, I really like the first season, and so I really enjoy Tom Huddleston. I like him.
Is everybody returning?
Well, I don't have all the Loki creator. I am
Let's
not
see.
seeing the two that I am seeing
Season
for
2.
sure is Owen Wilson,
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Ravonna Renslayer. I'm not for sure who is Google Matha Raw. Who is that?
I'm not sure. I was trying
I
to figure
was,
out.
I was going to say Grogu, but that's not. That's a different. That's kind of what that looks like to me. Gugu Mbatha Raw. I am saying that is a British actress. And I'm looking her up on IMDb, which
It
please
looks like,
sponsor us.
as of right now, we don't have Sylvie listed
That's the
on the
person that I
show.
was. Yeah,
That's
that's
who
the
I was
one.
expecting.
And I was hoping to see it because I really like her character.
Yeah. So Sophia
So
D. Martino is not listed, at least not listed for the first episode. So
Hmm.
we'll have to keep an eye on that, see who all's going to be in it. Several actors are listed in IMDb with no character name.
I get okay.
So will we get more? Well, and the big question is, do we get Kang?
Well, that's
I've
a
heard
whole.
I've heard rumors that he might be gone.
Well, with all that's been going down, yeah, I've heard the same thing too. I haven't kept up with the trial. I hadn't kept up with any of the verdicts, but uh, I know that Marvel was, they've kind of benched him, not knowing what they're going to do. So,
Yeah,
and I haven't, like I said, but I haven't been looking for any new information on that. But I kind
I
of
haven't
wrote it up.
either.
So be interesting.
I know. I'm curious if they will pull a Flash deal. Will they keep him around and just keep him under wraps?
I don't know. I guess it just depends. It just really depends the degree of uh, of what he's done. So
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I mean, technically, they kind of killed him off in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania,
Yeah.
but since there's multiple Kangs,
Well, that's
you know,
true.
you kill off one Kang, that doesn't mean you killed off all the Kangs. And I
Yeah.
guess, I mean, in one sense, you could recast him and still say he's Kang,
Yeah, you can.
and just say he's just a different variant, and this variant looks different.
That's true. That's true.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
think that's.
it could be done
I
pretty
think what they
easily.
should do. I think they should do that, and it would be Peter Dinklage. I think that would be awesome.
Yes.
Yes. So I think that would. I think that would be great. If you're gonna replace him with somebody totally opposite.
Well, since we're still on streaming services,
Yes,
I
sir.
just wanted to really quickly mention there is a brand new streaming service going to launch,
Oh, tell me
and
more.
it is yeah, because I need one more thing to pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's called Lore, like folklore, but it's
Lore.
spelled weird, Loor. And I actually just talked to the CEO and COO today, and it's kind of a weird deal. They are they're focusing on their target audience is conservative Christian men,
Mm-hmm.
and their comment was uh, most Christian content is focused on soccer moms in their 30s,
Okay.
and that's not what men want to watch.
Okay.
And the other comment was they don't want to see nudity or
Mm-hmm.
blasphemy.
Okay.
So that's kind of their take.
Is their
Um,
take?
but they're looking for edgier content,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily Christian content, but edgier content that doesn't have nudity or
Yeah.
blasphemy. So
Yes.
one of the shows they told me about is it's animated teddy bears,
Gotta love animated
re
teddy bears.
animated teddy bears. So
Yes.
think Gummy Bears cartoon.
Oh, yes,
If you
true.
remember the Gummy Bears or Care Bears,
Care
think
bears.
Care
That's
Bears, Care
exactly because.
Bears
Yes.
reenacting the bloodiest, most violent scenes in the Old Testament.
Some beheadings gonna go. Wow.
So they're not shying away from horror.
No.
They're working with people like the creator of Earthworm Jim.
Oh, I remember that
They're
game.
they recruited on their board. They've recruited a guy that was from Nickelodeon. He apparently he used to work on Ren and Stimpy, and now he created a show called Loud House, and he was the producer for Powderpuff Girls. So they're but they're looking at all sorts of different kind of
Wow,
interesting content,
man.
and they're aimed at guys who are fed up with the Hollywood norms
Yeah.
And so that anyway, it's kind of an interesting thing. The other thing is it's also kind of crowdsourced,
Okay.
meaning when they say it's like a video game. It's not really a video game, but
Yeah.
when you pay your monthly fee,
Hmm.
you get loot. You get loot, and then you can use your loot to fund different projects. And if the project is already finished, as soon as that project is fully funded, it goes live on the streaming service. And if it's not, then they go into production on that
Hmm.
project. So not only is it going to be, not only is the curated part aimed at men who are more
Hmm.
conservative, they also kind of, it will also be whoever is watching the platform is going to make the
Okay.
decisions on
Yeah.
which projects actually
Hmm.
get through the
Yeah.
process. Such a weird,
Yeah.
weird deal.
Yeah. I just want like a violent Care Bear episode, something like that. I want to see like major blood and gore and dismemberments. I want, instead of caring, I want them to be total annihilation. Man, that'd be awesome. I don't know. I might check those guys out. If you got, as long as they're gore and violence and explosions, I'm good with it.
Such an interesting idea. I
I
don't
think
know. I don't know
I
if
don't
it's
know
going to be
either.
good. But I kind of want to watch it happen.
I I think I would probably, yeah, I think I would sit down and watch that. So as odd and weird as I am, it might be up my alley. I don't know. But
Do you? I have some other nerdy news. Do you have anything else?
well, I was going to mention, I know you talked about you had one in the gaming industry. I had one also. So I didn't,
Oh
but
yeah,
I really, but I like to hear about, I would like to hear about Zelda.
Legends of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom
Hmm.
just came out this past week,
Yeah.
and apparently it is killing it at sales.
Hmm.
Tons and tons of sales. It is outpacing a lot of other games when it was
Hmm.
first released. Apparently, it is number one in the UK, outselling the Hogwarts Legacy game.
Okay. That was a big deal.
And but it has some interesting features that I'm not super familiar with. I was reading an article that said that programmers don't understand how Nintendo did what they did. So apparently, there's a building feature in the game,
Hmm.
which makes me think Fortnite. So
Yeah. Yeah.
think of a combination of Zelda and Fortnite because you're able to create things, but it's less about building structures to hide behind. Apparently, it's more about building like stuff to use or vehicles or like you build a raft and you build a boat so you can build things that do things like building a little car that rolls and apparently there's some physics built into the gaming engine that
Hmm.
programmers just can't understand how Nintendo did it. That the physics is working so well, they simply don't understand the programming that had to go into it. Um,
Yeah.
but everybody I've heard about absolutely is loving the game so far.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have not kept up with it. I knew they were going to come out with another Zelda game, so that's awesome. And of course, I'm assuming that's for the Switch. So the
Yes, that's
Nintendo
for the
Switch. So
Switch, which is another thing that apparently programmers are confused about is how they got the physics to work so well on the Switch.
well, that's my thought too, right?
Because the Switch is not, we're not talking about a super robust
No,
PS5,
no, we're
you
not.
know.
No, Nintendo always had the ability, especially on their first party games. They, even as far as I can look back, they knew how to squeeze everything out of their
Yes.
consoles. Now, first
That
party, I'm talking about Nintendo. The
yes.
third
If
parties,
Nintendo wrote the
yeah,
game, it
yeah,
could do things that
yeah,
no other game could do on the Nintendo. I
exactly.
don't know what that's. There's definitely some magic in that little box that I'm not sure
Yeah,
everybody understands.
Yeah, exactly. I totally think that. Well, that's just Nintendo. They come up with some of the most ingenious and weirdest stuff. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I do not have a Switch, but you do
I
have
have
one,
a
don't you?
Switch. I do have a Switch, and I am seriously considering buying the game.
Well, I mean, you
And
should.
I'm not much of a gamer, but the whole thing interests me so much. I'm seriously considering buying it.
That sounds good.
The other gaming thing I had was apparently Prime Gaming
Oh,
has announced an MMO that's going to be set in the Lord of the Rings universe.
gotcha.
And they say expect it to take about 3 years for development, and that it is not, which this is one of those. It's not related to the canceled game that they already had.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. Okay.
But they do say it's going to involve like every era of the Lord of the Rings that's available. But expect it in a few years. But a big MMO, so think open world and multiplayer could be interesting.
Yeah. Well, Amazon Prime tried something else, and I guess it's still out there. I can't remember the name of the game because they did their own. They actually from their studios they did an MMO as well, and I can't remember the name of it. People out there who are more gamers, bigger gamers than I am, probably know what that is. But and let's look at it real quick because because it's funny that let's see here. Let's just Google it, folks. We take a little time on the show. It's called New World.
New
That's what
World,
it is.
yes.
New World. So that's their first attempt on doing an MMO. So it's fascinating
Okay.
that Amazon is now looking into the gaming industry. They're into everything else under the sun right now.
Anything that Amazon does, they tend to dominate as soon as
So
they can. But
yeah,
I
I
don't
just don't
know.
know. Unless they buy studios, which by the way, Europe has passed. Uh,
Oh, okay.
they have passed Microsoft's wanting to acquire,
Mm,
uh, Activision, which
okay.
is also Blizzard, and so they've while last show I talked about how they were uh, going debating on whether or not they're going to allow Microsoft to acquire because
Hmm.
the whole antitrust monopoly, whatever
Yeah.
Sony's trying to yell about, So anyway, that came up. But another game that also came up, this came out in April. It's Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
Um,
Heard good
had
things about this
had
game.
a very rough start because of as far as performance go. That one guy on Steam, he made the comment that the performance is as good as my one-legged grandmother running a race, and but I think it has been improving. I know that they've been sending patches out, but as far as the story goes, from my understanding, it's I've heard nothing but great things about the game itself, the content of the
Mm,
game. I just finished playing The Fallen Order, which was the first one,
okay.
just a week ago, and it was really good. It's kind of a Souls like, if any are familiar with like
Mm,
Soul like games, which it's almost impossible to beat. Um, but this takes the same, but it does have where you can, unlike Souls, they on this particular game, you can actually Dark Souls. I mean, unlike
mm.
Dark Souls, those type of games, you can actually EA has offered you to have like levels where you can kind
Oh,
of you
you can
can
make it easier.
you can easier. But yeah,
So
Dark
even
Souls.
I could win.
You could, but man, it's still pretty hard. So anyway, but the thing about it, I really like the voice actor,
Mm,
Cameron. I can't. It's Cameron. Last name is Mahanagan. I think
mm,
that's it's Monaghan,
okay.
and he plays Cal Kestis, which
Mm,
is the main character in the game.
Okay.
And, it's rumors, rumors on the net that maybe, maybe he might come into the fold, because they
Oh,
do come into the fold. I mean, for my understanding, and I'm
where
not going to give,
where does this fall into the timeline?
this falls into, he's a Padawan from when Order 66 happened. And so he's in the timeline where I would almost say probably at the end of the Bad Batch, before, not Rogue One, and I wouldn't say, maybe the beginning of the Resistance, because in the game they had Saul Garius was in there in the video game, so
Okay.
it could be very early Rebels from
Okay.
the
So
from
this says 9 BBY.
9 BBY.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so but then talks, because and I'm not going to give anything away. I kind of, any spoilers to the current game, because there's some things that in there that, well, anyway, if you haven't played the first one, spoiler alert, spoil, because it's been out forever. You can get it on Steam for
Yeah.
$5 now. But you see Darth Vader for the first time in
Oh,
it, so that tells you the timeline. So this is,
gotcha.
so we're talking about maybe a young Vader.
Okay.
So anyway,
Interesting.
enough of that. Enough of that.
Well,
So,
I was going to say I only have one other thing, and that is a movie. William Defoe has been
oh yeah,
confirmed to join Jenna Ortega, and Michael Keaton, one of our favorite actors,
love
in
Michael Keaton.
Beetlejuice 2.
That's pretty awesome.
Supposed to
Pretty
be releasing
awesome.
September 6th, 2024. So expect it next year. Winona Ryder is also returning. And Defoe is expected to play a law enforcement officer in the afterlife. So hopefully that goes good. um,
Okay.
RIPD didn't do so well, which was law enforcement officers in the afterlife.
I remember that one. Yes,
So
was
that
that
didn't go.
Ryan Reynolds? Was that Ryan
I
Reynolds and the
don't
dude?
remember who. Yeah,
The
I think
dude, I
so.
can't. Yeah, is
That movie
yeah,
just did okay. So hopefully this one
yeah,
does better for William Defoe.
yeah. I
Um,
hope so.
but Tim Burton is returning to direct.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
that's a
good.
good sign.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of original cast, original director. The only thing I can think of right now is, unless it's the film is scheduled to start shooting like in a couple of weeks. So
Oh,
the only thing that could really hold it up is if they have to have a writer on set, that could screw things up with the writer's strike.
gotcha. Gotcha.
So, but hopefully they can at least get some of the major scenes shot and not hold up, and hopefully the writer's strike will be over before they actually need somebody on set.
Yeah, hopefully they'll settle that out and
Yeah, because
things will
anything like
thoroughly be taken care of.
that could push things. I mean, the movie is scheduled to come out more than a year away. So if the
Yeah.
writer's strike doesn't last too long, it should be fine to keep that date.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that's all the nerdy news I have. I mean, we've had a lot of nerdy news. Do you
Yes,
have
we
anything
have.
else?
No, I've got nothing except our next segment. Maybe some stupid news.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's the weird and stupid news with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
What do we have today, folks? Let's other juicy, stupid news do we have? Very respectful news. We get all our sources from the top notch, resources and news and I mean
The most reliable sources.
reliable. Yes, the most. We like to go for the classy kind of stuff here on Speaking Nerdy. But
If it
anyway,
doesn't have to do if it doesn't have to do with bodily fluid
Mm-hmm.
or start with the words a Florida man,
Exactly.
usually it doesn't make the cut here.
Usually it doesn't. Usually it does not. Usually not. But in this article here, it's well, anyway, get ready, folks. Get ready, folks. It's time. It's the time of the year again when the city of brotherly love gets a little extra love and much less clothing. That's
Oh,
right. That's right. The Philly Naked Bike Ride. The Philly Naked Bike Ride is making its grand return in August, and it's got everyone anxiously awaiting the big reveal. Um,
oh,
yes. Over the years, the ride has taken participants on a whirlwind tour of Philly's most iconic landmarks, including the Independence Hall, the U.S. Mint, and the Liberty Bell. And I'm sure there's more than just the Liberty Bell ringing during the event. Dun-dun-dun. And if you're lucky, you may spot a cyclist doing their Rocky impersonations on the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
no,
No, that's
no,
no, that's a sight to behold. I tell you,
no.
yeah.
Oh,
So
why is this a thing?
I don't know.
Why is
It,
this a
it it
thing?
it is a thing, but anyway, initially the Philly, of course, now initially the Philly Naked Bike Ride has always been held in September, but after some complaints being a tad bit, chilly on the cheeks, they've now started to hold the, the events in August. So it's like, so you would rather have a hot, sweaty cheeks, among other things, That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense.
Neither. I have no interest in either. Why is
I
this a
I
thing?
I don't know. It is a thing. But on the very last article, let me back up here now. Ricky, sometimes bizarre and unexpected events can happen during a hotel stay.
Okay.
You've
Yeah.
heard of room service mishaps.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
heard of lost reservations, maybe an
Yeah.
occasional bed
I,
bug
I, I,
infestation.
my family and I were in a hotel in Florida, or no, in Dallas, and
Mm-hmm.
we had an early morning flight, and the fire alarm only went off 3 times that night.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The perfect example. I mean, especially here, a hotel located in Nashville has found itself in a toe sucking scandal.
Oh,
That's right. Peter Brennan was expecting a peaceful night's sleep in the comfort of his hotel room at the downtown Hilton in Nashville.
why?
Little did he know that his dreams would soonly turn into a totally freakish nightmare. Nightmare. Totally, they
Oh,
try to play a word off of
yeah, Toad
toe.
Tadley. Oh, that's
Totally, toe is really bad
yeah,
anyway.
that one's
That
a
was bad.
stretch.
Yeah, that was not my fault, though I said it. I guess it is. But in the wee hours of the night, Brennan awoke to a particular sensation, a gentle nibbling on his toes. Confused and disoriented, he leaped out of bed screaming. As Brennan regained his senses, he found himself face to face with an alleged assailant, David Neal, a Hilton employee. Yes, yes, David Neal made a copy of the key card to enter into the Brennan's
So
room.
wrong.
Yes, very wrong. Brennan's demanded answers, trying to make sense of the toe sucking encounter, but the alleged toe sucker, how many times you can say toe sucker, didn't give any substantial explanation. Uh, Now, Neil admitted entering the room, but told officers he could smell smoke.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I suppose the obvious choice is to expect a guest's toes while they're sleeping. That's when I smell smoke, I'm thinking I need to
I
go in someone else's room and smell their toes.
I have never
No.
don't think I've ever thought that's the thing I should do right now.
Now the
ever.
thing is, now Brennan claims that the alleged assault has left him with PTSD and trouble sleeping. Now I had to look this up, Ricky. Maybe you can answer. Now, is PTSD a a form of STD for toes? No. I
Oh
think
my
we'll just
gosh.
end it. I think we'll end it with that.
This has been the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Oh, I forgot to show my little happy feet. There you go. Unhappy feet. There we go. Oh man.
Oh,
Okay.
why do these people exist? I don't
I don't know.
understand.
It gives me something to do. So
Ah,
it
it gives me.
you can't make this stuff up. You really can't.
I lose faith in humanity when you do stupid news.
Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, folks.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are
Oh,
talking about Secret Invasion.
that's right. Secret Invasion. They came out with this past couple of days, actually 4 days ago, the
Mhm.
featurette of Secret Invasion, and
It looks really
there's
good.
it looks good. It's kind of a cloak and dagger. I mean, it's it's
We don't
less
see.
superhero.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't see any superheroes.
It looks like a lot of your Marvel support people are in this movie. If
Yes.
you, uh,
So obviously led by Samuel L. Jackson,
yes,
and we get the return of Mara Hill,
that's right, Maura Hill.
uh, Kobe Smulders. Is
Hmm.
that this? Is it the same actress that's played Mara Hill before?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I
Yes, it
assumed it
is.
was, but I wasn't positive. Um, and the surprise for me was Martin Freeman showed up.
Martin Freeman's in it, yeah. And I'm trying to remember because Martin Freeman, he looked like he was, and I don't think I have. I can't remember if we have a photo of him. Of course, our people in our audio,
He's not in the list
it's
of
not in there
photos you uploaded. No.
list, but in the film, because remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, last time Martin Freeman, who was married to at
His
one time
ex-wife.
his
His
ex-wife.
ex-wife was Valentina de Flor
Yeah. So and
whatever.
somehow, yeah. So somehow he got canned and he got saved. In the situation. What movie was that?
It was
Where he
Black
got
Panther Wakanda
Black Panther
Forever.
Forever. That's right.
Yes.
So
And yeah, that was a weird, like he was in the original Black Panther. Has he
yeah,
been in any other? I was actually checking to see. Yes, he was in Captain America Civil War.
that's
So
okay.
so that makes,
Okay.
so he has been in other Marvel movies other than the Black Panther. That's why I was trying to figure out if he had been in any other Marvel movies because I really wasn't expecting him. I mean, he's CIA, which kind of makes sense with the
But
whole cloak and
but
dagger
but
thing.
is he still CIA? He
I,
kind of got banned because Valentine, isn't she the head of the CIA now? From my understanding, from the last
yeah,
time,
I
or
think so.
because he
But
kind of looks like he's kind of cloaked and dagger too. He has a little beanie cap on, like his whole.
well, I will say he's according to IMDb, he's only confirmed for one episode.
Oh, really?
Yes. So
I do.
I'm not sure
Yeah.
how long he'll be in the show. May just be the one episode.
Oh, yeah. I see that on there. That's too bad. I mean, I like him. As an
I do
actor.
too.
I think it's
New
so
face.
funny him and Cumberbatch both are in this, in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Cumberbatch, um,
Yes. Both playing in the Brit the British version of
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sherlock.
A
But
great show,
yeah,
by the way.
yes, it is.
One of the people I'm excited about, and I don't think she has been in any Marvel movies before
No, actually, in the
is
featurette, she talked about how she kept begging to be in a Marvel
oh yes,
movie.
she did. Yes.
Yes,
Olivia Colman, she is a great actress.
she is a great actress.
First place I recall seeing her was in a British show called Broadchurch. It's a great police procedural,
Hmm.
police drama kind of thing, and she did fantastic in that. And I've thought she's a great actress ever since. So I was super excited to see that she's going to be coming to the Marvel universe. I hope
Yeah,
she survives, and I hope she gets used. I am a little confused.
yes.
Is she a bad guy?
Well, it sounds like she's. I mean, she's Special Agent Sonya Fallsworth.
So yeah. So my question is she a bad guy, or was she a good guy using torture to get information from a bad guy?
I don't know. It's
Because I
really
gathered
strange.
she was using some kind of advanced interrogation methods
Well,
in the little trailer thing that we watched. But it says she's going to be in all 6 episodes. I hope she survives. I hope she gets
I
to come
hope so
back.
too. I hope so too. Well, I mean, so and also Ben Mendelsohn, who I really like, who plays Talos.
Yes,
He will
Talos
be
is
back.
returning.
Um, we remember him from Miss Marvel,
Yep,
and of course, from my understanding, he, I guess, well, I'm kind of,
he gets to show his real face this time.
yeah, he does. He does. Fury, of course, I guess Fury, he's out of pocket up on that ship, that ship
Hmm.
that up in the
Yep.
sky, and all this stuff is getting down and bad on Earth. And I guess Talos has kind of been his eyes and ears on Earth because it goes all the way back to what was it? The one of the Spider-Man movies.
Is it
Which
Spider-Man
one?
movie? I don't
Yeah, because
recall, but I remember Nick Fury gets in the car, drives off, and you find out it's Talos.
Talos. That's what I
And
mean. Yeah,
he's been Nick Fury for how long? It's unclear.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing. Another surprise for me was I think it was a surprise. Don Cheadle is coming back,
Yes.
so War Machine is in the film,
Which is
but
interesting.
we
He
don't
kind of
see him in a suit in a Iron Man suit.
no.
So because theoretically he could replace he could be moved from War Machine to Iron Man
Hmm.
in the show in the movies.
Yeah,
That would make sense. That's
that
an
would make
easy
sense. I like
that's
Don
an easy
Cheadle.
progression.
Yeah,
I do too. He's a good actor,
yeah.
and he plays this role really well. I was surprised to see him, um, but it does appear that
How many episodes do they have him in? Only
just
one
one,
episode, just one.
only one so far. Now
Gotcha.
we both you and I both know
Yeah,
that IMDb is as accurate as the studio allows them to
we'll
be.
allow them to be. So that could be anything. Yeah,
For those people who don't know how IMDb works, you as a filmmaker have a dedicated login that you pay for, and you can add movies and you can add information about those movies. IMDb doesn't always just go hunt that down and add it.
no, they don't.
So, so since you get to put in the information, you get to put in exactly how much information you're willing to let the public know about. Hence, we have characters in the show that have no names, and they probably won't get names until they're they show up as a character and reveal. Their big reveal happens,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
there are several people in the IMDb list that have that situation. One particular one says 6 episodes. Carmen Ejogo. I'm not familiar with this actress. She's in all 6 episodes, but she does not have a character name yet.
Really.
So we'll have to see. She's done some big movies. She was in Selma. She's been in Purge.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So she's had some decent films. Um, so we'll have to keep an eye on her. Being in 6 episodes, being an actress that's had some big name movies
Yeah.
appearances, she might be a more pivotal person than we think she might be.
Well, they have Emily Clark is in it, so for those who are fans of Game of Thrones,
Mm-hmm.
she a big character in that. She's in all 6 episodes. Gia,
Gia or Gaia, I'm not sure.
Gaia, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure which name. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I'm assuming since she has one name, she's actually a Skrull.
That could be it. That
I
would make
I kind of
sense.
assume if they only get
That,
one name that they're a
just one
Skrull.
name, yeah. I mean, that's funny. I didn't really
Uh,
think about that, but yeah,
Christopher McDonald is another actor that's going to be in it. 6 episodes with no character name.
interesting. Okay,
So we'll have to see. I mean, and he's done tons of stuff. A great actor. We'll have to keep an eye on him. I mean, he's a pretty decently well known actor.
yeah.
I'll be surprised if he just has a little bit part. Um, so what are your initial thoughts? I mean, I know we said it's definitely Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
Is this definitely going to be? I think it's significantly different than the comics.
Yes, it definitely is. And it's funny because there was a couple of times. The thing is almost it's not a who done it. We know it's Cloak and Dagger, but in the situation, Fury, he's wanted. He's the most wanted, and
Right.
so and here he is. He comes back, and they talked about we're the Avengers, and he says, "Well, this is something I have to do on my own," which is like why, but if I need help, I'm going to call the Avengers. But anyway, because I'm a wuss. But anyway, so so in that situation, Samuel L. Jackson plays Nick Fury, and he is taking upon himself to see what's going on. I guess there's been a lot of terrorism going on
Mm-hmm.
in the world as a whole. So
Mm-hmm.
he comes back and like I said, I don't know much about it, but from my understanding and the way looking at the trailer, it's like there was even a comment within the featurette is that basically you can't trust anyone. And so I look
Which
at somebody who is that? Like Talos a couple of times, he kind of worried me because, in the original comics, they were supposed to be enemies. Am I correct?
right in the comics, Skrulls were always the bad guys. The Kree were the
Yeah.
good guys, and the MCU flip flopped that pretty
Yeah.
significantly. Um, so that's part of the question marks I have. Are we going to find that there are good Skrulls and bad Skrulls? Are we going
Yeah.
to find that the Skrulls really were bad guys the whole time? We just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Now in the comics, they actually started replacing the Avengers, not just Samuel L. Jackson and Shield agents. They
Mm-hmm.
act like Captain America was actually a Skrull, and all these superheroes were Skrulls in disguise. But it doesn't look like we're going to see any of that from
No, I
what
don't
I'm seeing.
know.
This is going to be a much low powered show.
Yeah. 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 I think it's gonna I love Samuel L. Jackson. I really my impression of it is that um again it's gonna be a lot I call it a lot of the B characters.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not talking a lot of the B characters.
I mean,
Which is
let's be honest. We're as far as comics go, we're talking about sea-level characters, maybe.
well that's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
Don Cheadle as War Machine is kind of B squad.
That's true. That's
Now
true.
Nick Fury is kind of A squad, but
Yeah.
Mara Hill is questionably B. But I mean, you get down to Martin Freeman playing Everett Ross.
Yeah,
That's D
exactly.
Squad.
Yeah, exactly. What was that character ever? Was that a legitimate character in the comic books? Do you know
I
Everett?
think I think it was. I think he
Okay,
was, but I don't know that he had as much. I don't know that he had as much action in the comics.
so I see in here in IMDb it says Kingsley. You said you thought it was Ben Kingsley, but
Oh yeah,
Kingsley Ben Adair. Uh,
yeah,
he has the title of Rebel Skull
yes,
Leader, and I'm
yes.
trying to figure
So
out what.
does that mean? So that's a big question. Like, are the rebel scrolls the bad guys, or are they
Yeah,
the
Rebel
are
Scroll
they the
Leader.
rebel alliance? Are they the good guys? And the main leaders, the main scrolls are the bad guys. I'm super confused.
I think there might be. I think a lot of what's going. I'm going to make a prediction. Maybe you have good scrolls, you have bad, and maybe the Earth has a lot of the bad ones, and some and next thing you know, you have the good versus the bad. You have the and where do they fall? I don't know, but
So
I think you
you
might
think
have
we're going to
some of
get
that.
you think we're going to get a scroll versus scroll war
It might
of some
be. It
sort?
might be. I mean, of course, I'm putting everything into this whole rebel scroll leader, but
Yeah,
you have several people in here playing scroll characters, and some that could possibly be scroll characters, and some that you probably won't even find out to the very last episode. It's like a cliffhanger or something like that.
Morgan Freeman, not Morgan Freeman.
Yes, Morgan Freeman. That will be
Yes.
an exciting thing. Morgan Freeman, he's in this
Oh my
evil chair. He
gosh,
turns around, This is
Martin
Morgan Freeman.
Freeman. Yeah, we're gonna find out Martin Freeman, Everett Ross was a scroll the whole time.
Yeah, and yeah,
Which that kind of thing could happen.
it can
Um,
happen.
Olivia
Would we
Colman could be
care?
a
I don't.
scroll as well. Yeah, I think kind of based on some of the things in the trailer. I'm putting a lot in that name, like you said, Rebel Scroll Leader Garvik. It sounds like we're going to get scroll versus scroll,
Yeah,
and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's interesting that we can have some good scrolls, we can have some bad scrolls, and the question is who's who.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but when you've got shape shifting characters, you don't know.
Well, that's the cloak and dagger of it, and that could be the whole idea of you don't know who you can trust, and
Well, and
so
one of my favorite lines, I think it's Samuel L. Jackson to Don Cheadle's character, Rhodey. He says, "How much do you really know your security detail? How
exactly.
well do you know your security detail?" I, I have the feeling Samuel L. Jackson can see things that the rest of us can't.
That would make sense. Yeah,
So I wonder if he maybe he can tell who's a scroll and who's not,
yeah.
or maybe he can't, but he just has suspicions.
I'm
But
I'm in, I'm interested what he's been doing this whole time.
you
We've
think we're going
seen
to get
from
an
no.
explanation?
I would love from Nowhere Home. The last thing you saw, No Way Home, where not No Way Home, it was the second one, uh, Away from Home,
Oh, Far From Home.
Far from Home, Away from Home, Far from Home. The last thing you think is Nick Fury up on,
Yeah,
I don't know, acting like he's on the beach on a hollow deck on
yeah,
the
exactly.
scroll ship. So, was he doing this the whole time? What was he doing during this time? I want to know a little. I would like to some backstory, and I don't know if we'll get that or not, but
Yeah,
um,
I feel like we're not.
I don't think so either. Because it's what 6 episodes we're looking
Looks
at?
like it's going to be 6 episodes. It's going to be a mini series. I would not expect to see a season two.
No,
I think this will be a one and done.
yeah, I think so
Now
too.
maybe we get another. Maybe in the future we get another Nick Fury series, but I think this will be a one and done kind of deal.
So you think we might see more of Nick Fury?
I hope so. I
I mean, I do too. I mean, I
we
like the
don't get
character.
to see much of him ever, really.
Yeah.
We barely see him in action in any movies.
Hmm.
He's he's not a I mean, this is really his first quote unquote leading role in a Marvel
Yeah.
product.
Yeah. I mean, he
Um
had more. Yeah, and Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel.
in
Sorry, Miss
Captain
Marvel.
Marvel, he
I mean,
was
he
yeah, he had
had more playtime,
yeah, maybe co-star,
more of
I
a
don't
co-star.
yeah,
He,
I don't he was definitely a big supporting actor.
I think that's would be the word. Yeah.
Co-lead maybe. Uh,
Yeah. I think
but I'm a little
it's
I'm
more.
even questionable on that.
Yeah, I think it's more of a supporting actor.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, this will be the first thing that's like, this is your deal.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
never really gotten a Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. movie.
No.
This is it. This is going to be it.
No.
Um, I'm, I'm curious. 6 episodes. I hope they're going to be long episodes. I hope they're going to be
I
45
hope so
minute.
too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they give us 25-minute episodes and it's 6 episodes, this thing's
Forget
going to
about it.
fly by.
Yeah. Forget about it.
They
Forget
might
about
as
it.
well just
Yeah.
make a movie. Called it
Yeah.
good.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I hope so too. My concern is I don't want it too short. Anytime I hear, 6 episodes, it makes me go, okay, well, you know, because we have ton of credits. Okay, I'm sorry, ton of Marvel has ton of
Yes,
credits,
5 minute credit
and
for a 30
and
minute
it's
show.
yeah. So it's like, man. So when you hear, I mean, so if you hear 35 minutes, okay, we got 30 minutes. Okay,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
so maybe if we're lucky. Because that doesn't include all the foreign credits, that
Yeah.
comes up,
Oh, I know. Well, I
So
think so I believe if I recall right, Falcon and Winter Soldier was each episode was about 40 to 45 minutes long, and it was
yeah,
6 episodes if I recall
okay,
correctly. So I would that's what I would expect from this.
okay.
I feel like they have a lot of story to tell.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I mean, there's several scenes that gets my attention. One scene where you see Talos and I don't know, a guy in a flat jacket and a helmet. But there's a fire. I mean, I don't know. Something's happening. It's
Yeah.
almost like a war of some kind. There is in one scene, uh, Martin Everett Ross is talking to another agent, and I can't remember the guy's name.
Yes. Is that the scene that makes? Is that the scene where he goes? Uh, he's definitely like the conspiracy theory guy.
Yes,
He
that's
makes me
him.
think of the meme. The guy with
Yes.
the string on the board.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
every time when I saw that meme, I was like, when I saw that
That's
scene, I was like, hey, that's a
that's
meme.
the name. Yeah, yeah. And he's supposed to be an agent. So,
Yeah.
from my understanding, so yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's supposed to come out in June. Is it June 21st? I believe
Think so.
so. Um, yes, June the 21st of this year. So that's I look forward to that. Yeah, because Disney right now, if they are losing 4 million subscribers, the they need to start. I mean, we've had like Star Wars Bonanza. Okay, it's been
Hmm.
Palooza, and so we got to bring some Marvel back in the fold.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and I can understand why we talked about earlier Hulu coming into the fold. Also, I guess maybe I don't know. I can see where Disney might be struggling because most people like myself who subscribe to Disney is Star Wars, Marvel. Unless you have kids and stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't care. I really don't watch the old Disney films. I don't.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe like the Black Hole or something like that. Um, I don't watch the TV shows, or I mean
Yeah.
the Disney Channel content stuff. That just
Yeah.
doesn't, not me. It's Star Wars, Marvel, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And so you have it just for that. So you have to, and they know there's a ton of people that are in the same boat.
Yeah.
A lot of their subscribers,
Yeah.
they
Got
finish the
guys like you and
series.
me
Yeah.
where our kids are grown,
Yeah.
either out of the house or almost out of the house.
Yeah.
They're not watching, they're not watching the Disney kid shows either.
No.
And, you and I have to make a decision. Do I keep paying for a service where I can only watch, 6 episodes, 3 times a year?
Yeah,
Do I
exactly.
continue paying monthly? That's a
Yeah,
big question
exactly.
mark.
Yeah. I mean, this is great that this is coming out, but what till then?
Yeah.
And that's the
Now,
thing.
I mean, there's some other good, I would say adult focused Disney content that's like, there's some documentary stuff on there. It's pretty interesting if you're
Hmm.
into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think you've got a lot of guys, like you said, like you and me. They're really not. They
Well, and
have Disney Plus for the Marvel content and the Star Wars content.
yeah, I mean, I don't think
there's
I mean,
there's a
yeah,
reason that the blocks at the top, the two most prominent ones are Star Wars and
Star Wars.
Marvel
Exactly.
when you log in. Um,
Excellent.
but yeah, I don't know. That's 4 million subscribers isn't super surprising to
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Exactly. I'm looking forward to it. I really like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep,
I like, I like the C Squad. I like seeing the support
I
actors.
do too.
I always find that fascinating, and especially in this cloak and dagger kind of spy thing. I'm always big on that,
Oh yeah.
and especially in the Marvel universe. So I look forward to seeing this, and I hope we get some more content. Of course, Loki. We talked about it coming in.
Hmm.
I think November. Um, we just talked about it. Yeah, I think it's in November.
Yeah, I don't
I
remember.
don't. I don't listen
I
to
don't
my
remember
own.
what you
I
said.
don't. I don't listen to my own stuff. But and of course, But so hopefully Marvel. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy just got done.
Yeah.
Um, what's coming up next as far as Marvel in the movies? Do we uh,
Um,
Guardians just kind of Guardians? It's out now. Of course.
we've got the Marvels that's
Okay, that's
supposed to be coming
okay.
out.
Okay,
It might be the next.
that might
It
be
might
the
be the
next thing.
next release.
Yeah.
Let me look real quick here. We got Secret Invasion, and yeah, I think the Marvels is the next thing, and then the Echo series
No. Okay.
is probably best guess. Unless there's some delay, Echo is probably going to cross over the
Yeah.
Christmas New Year's area.
When then
Um,
Daredevil's already kind of on hold because of the writer's strike, is my understanding of that.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So that's um, but Daredevil wasn't supposed to be this year though, was it?
I don't think so.
I don't think it was.
No.
Everything changes so often.
Well, I mean, there have been so many world events and then internal events that Marvel has to change their schedule all around, hold off movies, change movies,
Yeah,
recast. I mean, it's been a
yeah.
lot of
Marvels looks
uncertainty.
like Marvels is July.
Okay.
Um, New World Order is the new next Captain America movie. That's not supposed to be until next year.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts is supposed to be next year.
Yeah.
Blade is supposed to be next year, but now the writing's on hold. So
Yeah.
will it
Yeah.
even hit next year? I don't know. Deadpool's supposed to be. I mean, unless things change, 2024 could be a big year for Marvel movies.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Sounds
Um,
like it.
but if writing gets delayed, some of
Yeah.
those movies may push back to 2025.
Yeah. Let's not let that happen. Come on, writers. Come on, film industry. Give peace a chance.
Well, you got anything else?
I have nothing else. I want to thank everybody for listening in. We have so much content out there for you to watch and listen to. We're on speakingnerdy.com. You can catch our YouTube channel, which is YouTube/speakingnerdy. We're on the Facebook, Instagram, and on all your favorite audio platforms.
Yes.
Spotify to Apple, Stitchers, Witchers, Tickers, the whole bit. I mean, we're on it. So listen, we're there. We come out. I think now we can say we come out on Fridays. So
yep,
that's
releasing
official.
every Friday.
Every Friday. So we have a lot of good content, and I hope you guys come back with us next week. And you have anything that you want to add? Any like toast or salutations or anything that
I don't think I have anything else.
Okay, I think that's where we ended then.
All right. This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. Man, I think I was begging enough. Was enough begging, asking people, please?
It was a little begging.
Was it? Well, at least I'm consistent.